Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is my name is David Hilton. My Muslim brothers call me Dawud. Other friends call me Jeep. I come from Corona, Queens, New York, USA. I actually was born I was born in 1979. I was born into a family in which my grandfather was a preacher, and my grandmother, was heavy in the church, and the whole family was. We actually live on top of a church, actually. Growing up, I always had that love for a higher power because of my grandparents, because they instilled that in us. But I first learned about Islam. I first learned about Islam when I was about 24. I was about 24 a couple years ago. I learned about Islam, and I learned about it in Seattle, and it just was the truth to me. I always was interested in religion, but I didn't necessarily. I wasn't necessarily looking for the truth, searching for the truth. I just knew it was a higher power. But when I was in Seattle, I met a brother named Isaac, and Allah brought him to me. Allah brought the truth to me, and I never denied the truth ever. He gave me a Quran. I used to read, and I was so enlightened by the Quran, how great Allah is. So, like me now, at this present time, I'm still struggling, between what's righteous and unrighteous. But at the same time, something that I learned on my journey, that there's only one God. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. That's what I learned. That's something I'm gonna carry on, the rest of for eternity. These present days, like, I just have an affinity for religion. I have an affinity for where do I fit in the grand scheme of things on the universe and on the earth as far as religion goes. And I'm always building. I like to build and talk about it. And something that I notice all the time that stands out is, and a question that stands out in my head is, when the truth comes, why don't people accept the truth? When it's been manifested, why are we so caught up in institutions? And for me, thank God, like, I never said, well, I was brought up in the church. I never was arrogant to say that. I was brought up in the church, and I never closed my ears to anything. Alhamdulillah, and I thank Allah for that, because everybody don't have that.